Hey everybody, guess what I'm back with for today's Thursday filler video? More Katawa Shoujo, yay! Yeah, for this video we're going to be covering Emmys Bad Ending, in addition to Hanako's Bad Ending and her neutral ending. So yeah, much to cover, so let's dive in. Now, for Emmy's path, you remember me choosing Given and Let Misha Know to get the good ending. Now for Emmy's Bad Ending, we're going to be downplaying the issue. Oh my. This is going to get hard, folks. I'm not sure I like the idea of airing private matters to the student council. Nothing major.
He-chan, lying is a terrible thing to do.
She's not buying it. Okay, give her something, but not too much. We had a disagreement and haven't resolved it yet.
Oh? Why not?
Because, look, I don't need to talk about this, okay? It's not a big deal, okay? I'm fine.
And Emmy? Is she fine too, He-chan?
Misha's voice has taken on a decidedly serious edge. This is ridiculous. I don't know, okay? I haven't asked. Things are complicated right now.
What kind of man are you? Things get a little rough and you're going to hide from them?
Misha's sudden retort catches me completely off guard.
She-chan would call that a cowardly act, and she'd be right too. You two are close, happy together, and you're just going to roll over and die without a fight? You should be willing to fight for your girlfriend, Hisao.
It seems that Misha is channeling Shizune at the moment. It wouldn't surprise me to find out that Shizune gave her a script to follow based on my answer. Misha points an imperious arm at the classroom door.
Now you get out of the classroom and patch things up.
We've still got afternoon classes. This doesn't seem to dissuade Misha.
Then after class, you'd better do it, He-chan. It's important that you don't leave things like this.
Why? Misha regards me as one would regard an animal's droppings.
Didn't you care about her, Hisao? That's important, isn't it?
She's right. I do care about her. Don't I? Okay, I'll see her after class.
Great! I'll let She-chan know you're okay then.
The lit returns. I guess that means that Misha isn't angry at me anymore. She waves and disappears down the hallway and I eat my lunch. While afternoon classes draw to a close, I prepare myself for the task ahead. I have to see Emmy. Misha was at least correct about that. Leaving the question of Emmy and me an open issue won't work. At the very least, I need to apologize for what I said. I consider going to her room to find her, but she's probably still at the track. The steps out of the main building and down the path to the track make me feel like a doomed man. I have a twisting, horrible feeling in my gut that this is all going to go horribly wrong, that I'm not going to accomplish anything. Except for maybe driving the final nail in the coffin of whatever it was Emmy and I had. There she is, just as expected, running laps around the track after everyone else has gone to shower and dinner. I don't wave or even make my presence known. I just sit down on the bleachers and watch her run her laps. It takes her a few trips around the track before she notices me, after which she skids to a stop, eyes wide in surprise. Surprise is quickly masked by anger, which in turn fades behind a mask that I already know is impenetrable.
What are you doing here?
Not quite the response I had hoped for, but at this point I don't have much of a choice. I wanted to apologize for what I said the other day.
The other day?
She laughs, a curt exclamation of disbelief.
It's been almost a week, Hisao.
Yeah, well, better late than never, right? Emmy crosses her arms and stares at me coolly, as if sizing me up. Finally, she nods.
Huh. I suppose you're right. Water under the bridge, then. I forgive you. Is that all?
Her almost impatient question catches me so off guard that she's halfway down the track before I think to shout after her. No, wait! Emmy stops, turns and walks back to me, breathing a little heavily and looking annoyed at my interruption.
What?
Okay, I need to make this right, somehow. I have to know where I stand, maybe patch things up. Can you at least sit down?
I think we're okay talking here.
Fine, sure. Look, about us. I pause, trying to think of a good way to phrase what I'm about to say. But before I can launch into an impassioned plea for giving me another chance, Emmy's already spoken.
There's no more us, Hisao.
Why not?
We're just not right for each other.
She delivers this outrageous statement without even looking in my eyes. I don't believe you! We're great with one another!
Says the guy apologizing for getting thrown out of my house last week.
It was a fight! I said something really incredibly stupid and apologized for it.
And how many times had we already discussed the problem that started the fight? How many times had I told you that there was a set boundary that I wouldn't cross? And how many times did you keep trying to cross it?
Because your boundary was stupid. Emmy rolls her eyes, folds her arms across her chest, and cocks her head to the side.
Do you see this, Hisao? This is why we're not right for one another.
Her voice softens a little as she reaches out to stroke my cheek.
You're a good guy, but we're not going to work.
With a horrible lurching feeling, I realize that she's been practicing this, maybe every day since I left her house. Even the cheek stroke seems rehearsed, like something out of a movie. She never intended to give me another chance. Hell, she probably would have been fine with never seeing me again. So that's it then? Nothing else to say but gee, it was fun while it lasted, but so long? This actually seems to amuse Emmy far more than I wanted it to. She gives a rather morbid-sounding chuckle.
That's how I've lived my life, Hisao. You should know that by now. And it was fun.
A sad smile. She shivers slightly, and the smile vanishes.
But it's over now. It's for the best.
I want to yell, to scream at her, make her see reason, that this is stupid, the whole act, that she's just afraid of me, afraid of what being close to someone means. I want to tell her that I love her and that I can't just give up on her at the drop of a hat. Except, there's no point. She's made up her mind. We're done. Fine. Emmy nods, satisfied. I want to hit something.
Good.
She brightens with a false cheeriness.
See you around, Hisao.
No, you won't. You won't even try. She shrugs as if to say, have it your way, and turns her back on me once more, quickly accelerating around the curve of the track. I feel numb. This is it. The end of the road for us, whatever that was. Closure, at least. Emmy rounds the track again, and without sparing me a second glance, she's running much faster now, and I can't help but think of that first run together. I ran to catch you to try to prove I wasn't as weak as I knew I was, but it ended badly for me, didn't it? And now you're off running too fast for me again, and I have the choice to run after you again. But I won't. Not this time. You'd never let me catch you. I don't even notice walking away from the track or walking into my room or pulling a book out of my bag to read. Just before bed, I reset my alarm. Emmy and I have had our final encounter. We don't speak again after that. Yep, Emmy's Bad Ending right there. So, that was a quickie. And not a very good quickie either. So, now moving along to... Oh boy, this one's going to be even more painful, if you can believe it. And before we delve into Hanako's bad ending, I want to actually showcase some of the scenes that were leading... You know, the dialogue that you... You'll see what I mean. I'll have to get to it first. I think it's here. Alrighty, folks, back from my drink break. Oh man, do we have to do Hanako's bad ending? This is going to break me. Oy. Well, to fully 100% complete Hanako's path, we gotta do the bad ending. And her neutral, so we get everything. Now, the way to get to the bad ending, Neo corrected me. I thought it was only, how about we call it a day? No. You actually, from the start of Act 2, have to choose all the negative decisions. and then do How About We Call It a Day here. Then you get Hanako's bad ending. So, with me being corrected by Neo, let's continue. Now we choose How About We Call It a Day. I don't know about you, but I think I'm going to try and take a nap. My head is killing me. Judging by Hanako's instant relief, I can only assume that I've guessed right. I don't think she wants to be out and about. Wordlessly, she turns and heads back through the school gates. We walk all the way back to the dorms together, stopping awkwardly at the spot where we need to part.
Well then, goodbye.
Do you want to have some tea or something later? How about a game? Hanako shakes her head embarrassedly.
I'm tired. Maybe tomorrow? I've got homework.
I suppose she would have a bit of schoolwork to catch up on. She's missed a few days of lessons after all. Homework. Thanks for reminding me. I've got a stack to do as well. I guess I'll see you tomorrow.
See ya, Hisao.
Before I could say goodbye, Hanako has turned and begun walking towards the entrance to the female dormitory building. I look at the door she disappears through for a bit, before going off towards my own dorms. Tomorrow will be a better day. Or so you think. Well, we have arrived at Act 4. That hasn't changed. But everything else has. You'll see soon enough. Oh boy. And I think all this is the same here, so I'm going to skip this for a little bit. I'll stop when we get to somewhere new. A lot of it's the same up to a certain point. Yeah, we're definitely not sitting through another Kenji sequence, that's for sure. Had enough of that dude. Yeah, I think this is pretty much the same too. Alright, I think this is where it's gonna be. Alright, actually keep going. Next decision gate. Alright, right here is the game changer. Now, last time we did, well, actually when we were going for Hanako's good ending, we went agree with Lily. Now we're not doing that. Now we're going to trust our own judgment, and it's going to get us in deep doo-doo. Here we go. I listened carefully to what Lily has to say, but I can't bring myself to agree with her. Hanako is a delicate person at the best of times, and after what happened when her birthday was brought up, I think this is the very last situation where we should be leaving her alone if she's deliberately secluding herself. It feels like Lily has a very definite image of how best to deal with Hanako in her mind, though not just now, but in all the time that I've known the two. I mull over the best course of action in my head, and find myself trying to verbally agree with Lily as softly and as ambivalently as I can. We make some small talk afterwards, but neither of us really has much stomach for it in the light of recent events. We say our goodbyes before I hang up. I want to talk to Hanako myself, to help her as best I can. The best thing for her right now would be to have someone close to her, not to be left alone. I rap my knuckles thrice on Hanako's door. As expected, there's no answer. I briefly considered knocking again, but I know full well that I'd just get the same result if I did. Resting my hand on Hanako's door handle, I try and prepare what I want to say to her. Try as I might, I can't really think of anything worth saying. I want to comfort her, yes, but I have no idea how to do that. That alone is almost enough to stop me. I told Lily that I would, though, so I feel I have to follow through, whether I'm confident about it or not. I turn the handle downwards with a large amount of hesitation. It doesn't move far, though, due to the door being locked. Hanako. So she really has locked me out. After everything that happened between us, and the time that we spent together, she's shut me out completely. I don't know if you can hear me, but I just want to talk to you a bit. If you can hear me, could you unlock the door? I wait in silence. Minutes pass, but eventually I hear footsteps coming to the door, and the lock being worked. At least she's willing to hear me out. That's one good thing. I don't really know what to say, but I just wanted to see you. I wanted to make sure you're alright. I take a breath before pushing the handle down and opening the door. If she unlocked it without raising any protest, it should be fine for me to go in. Hanako is sitting on the side of her bed, her face sullen as though deep in thought. Her room is as stark as ever, and right now she seems to perfectly suit the mood it gives off. Eventually, her eyes slowly move to the door. As soon as she notices my presence, she darts off her bed and jumps to her feet, facing me straight on. Her oversized gown makes this gesture look all the more sweeping as it freely moves about her light frame.
What are you...
I quickly regret coming in as I look at her. She looks depressed, but there's a tinge of anger behind it, so she can make this kind of expression as well. I just wanted to check that you were alright. I thought it would be okay since you unlocked the door. Hanako opens her mouth to speak, but quickly closes it again before looking away. We stand in silence for a while before she steps back and sits down on the side of her bed. I'm not sure whether she's frustrated with me and resigned to the fact that I'm here, or genuinely okay with me being in her room. Once again, I find myself completely unable to work out how she feels. It's annoying. I end up walking to her desk chair and taking a seat. I do it slowly to allow her time to raise any issues she might have with me sticking around, but she doesn't say anything. All she does is stare at the ground, not moving a muscle. After sitting with my front to the chair's back, I take a better look at Hanako. She appears pale, but her cheeks look red. I'm not sure she's been eating well either, given how thin her frame looks. Lily might have said it would be better if I kept more of a distance from her, but it's hard to think of that as the correct way to deal with Hanako when she looks like this. She keeps looking at the ground without a word, as if waiting for me to say something. It's entirely reasonable, since I'm the one who came into her room. Want to go out somewhere? Going down the hill to town might be a bit much, but we could at least go for a walk outside.
Why do you want to do that?
I was just thinking that it might help you a bit. You spend so much time inside, your skin's going to get as pale as Lily's before long. I snort in amusement, expecting Hanako to do the same, but she gives no reaction. She just goes back to looking at the ground.
If you don't want to go, I don't want to go either.
It's fine. I played soccer and hung out with friends after school a lot before coming to Yamaku, so I like being outdoors. Hanako shows no visible reaction. It's hard to talk to her when the discussion is so one-sided. We could go to the library, if it wasn't closed by about now. The gardens would be fine, though. She begins to play with her hair. It's distracting, and strikes me as a little unusual for her. Then again, since the incident in class happened, I've been tiptoeing around her for fear of hurting her like that again. Actively trying to get her outside might be a good thing. I lean forward a bit more in the chair and give her a slightly forced smile to try and lighten the mood a little. There wouldn't be anyone around by now, so you wouldn't have to worry about someone getting in our way. It could be a little date or something. I give a small chuckle, but catch myself as Hanako stops playing with her hair and grips the bed tightly. Hanako's mouth moves, but try as I might, I can't pick out what she's mumbling. Hanako?
You don't understand.
Even now, I can only barely understand what she says. It feels like she's trying to make her presence as small as possible. That's incredibly natural for her to do in class or around others, but it hurts when she tries it around me. I told you, it's fine. It's just a little walk. Nobody will notice us. I get out of the chair and walk towards the door, turning back to invite Hanako along. Once again, she doesn't respond at all to what I say.
I don't...
Going outside for a bit is good, for clearing your head.
Why do you want to do this?
Because I want to help you.
I don't want help. Did you just come here to try and get me out?
I don't mind. I think everyone needs help sometimes. When I was trying to get through my first days at Yamaku, you and Lily helped me a lot. Besides, I'm not exactly busy.
I don't want to go. I'm fine.
I don't really think it's healthy to stay indoors that long. The sun's still got a little life in it, so it's not too late to have at least a little walk. I could probably use a bit of exercise anyway to help wake me up. I've got some homework to get done, and it wouldn't be good to fall asleep halfway through doing it.
Then go.
By myself? She nods. Well, I'm not really against that, but are you sure? I swung by to invite you to come with me.
I'm fine. You can go.
Come on, just a small walk.
Please, just go. I'm fine here.
Hanako? I try to look at her face to gauge her feelings, but her expression is wooden, as if it was so carefully arranged that a single movement might cause it to collapse. Well, if you want to stay here, maybe we could play a game?
Just leave, please. I don't want to do anything right now.
Certainly there's something you want to do. It must be boring sitting here in your room alone.
I want you to go.
Come on, you don't have to be like that. I just want to spend some time with you. Lily and I are worried, so...
You talked to her?
Yeah. We were on the phone, just a little while ago. We're both really worried about you. Hanako mumbles to herself again. It's increasingly disturbing. Hanako?
I'm telling you, please go away. You don't understand anything.
If we just had a talk, you could tell me what I don't understand. I just want to protect you. I don't really see...
Get out. Please.
Just locking yourself in your room again isn't going to help anything, Hanako. Please. Silence. Hanako, I just want to... She suddenly storms off her bed, turning to me with an expression that takes me completely off guard.
Get out of my room! Get out of my room! Get out of my room!
Hanako yells at me with such force that, for the first time in a long time, I feel genuinely frightened. I have no idea how to react to this, and from Hanako of all people.
Leave! I'm telling you, go!
But, I was just trying to help you.
I know I need help! I know I'm broken! I don't need you to tell me that!
I never said you were broken or anything like that.
It's written on your face, it's written on Lily's face, it's written on everybody's faces! I see a therapist every week, Lily dotes on me as if I were a child, and now even you! Nothing's changed, nothing at all! I hate Lily, and I hate you more than anyone!
Her face moves in strange, almost grotesque ways. I've never seen someone completely lose it before, but it looks like the usually quiet and withdrawn girl in front of me is going into just such a destructive cycle before my eyes. I don't know what to do. I have no idea what I should or say or do.
Go! Leave me alone! Get out of here!
I take a step back, then another, and then another. My retreat is only halted when I feel the door against my back. I can't fix this situation. Nothing I say would change anything, now. I feel like I'm in a strange and deeply unsettling foreign world. I don't want to be here anymore. The door handle fights my clumsy attempts to open the door without turning my back to Hanako. Eventually, thankfully, the handle moves downwards. I open the door as fast as I can and almost leap backwards through it. As I go through, I keep my eyes on the girl in front of me. She's not broken. Hanako isn't broken. If she was broken, then I'm just as broken as she is after all that's happened to me. Lily only ever did the best by her, and I only ever tried to protect her as best I could. Hanako looks down, all her energy spent. Now that I've stepped out of her room, the worst of her fury is gone. But even now, I can't bring myself to argue with her. It's not just the deep shock at what she said. It feels like something else is stopping me. Something deep that makes me feel physically sick. Without a word, I slowly shut the door. The creak of the old hinges sounds almost deafening. With a final thud, the wooden door closes. The Hanako that I felt I knew disappears behind it, and only faint orange slivers of light peek around the very edges. I feel numb. Without anything else to do, I begin to walk back to my dormitory room, mechanically placing one foot in front of the other while barely registering a thing around me. My mind keeps ticking, questioning everything that I thought I knew about Hanako. But one thing is not questioned, that shutting that door brought a close to more than that single visit. Yeah, it brought a close to your relationship, dummy! Ugh. Couldn't give Hanako her space, not to mention you kept abandoning her every which turn. That's what happens when you do the negative decision gates. Because you're essentially neglecting Hanako, and you know, you're only using her for when you want to use her, or when you want to hang out with her. And I think that's what brought all that on, and then to call it a day just pushed her over the edge pretty much. Yeah, that was tough to get through. Sorry about that, folks. Had to answer the phone real quick. And now it's time to wrap up the video by doing Hanako's neutral ending. And to do that, you have to hit all the positives from Act 2 and on to this point. And instead of hitting agree with Lily to get the best ending, you want to hit trust my own judgment to get the neutral. I listen carefully to what Lily has to say, but I can't bring myself to agree with her. I want to be with Hanako more. I want to be a better friend to her, to support her when she needs support, and to be there when she most needs people. I think that now is one of these times. The memory of the store owner we met in town together still puts me off. Anyone who takes even the slightest glance at Hanako ends up staring, and to fault them for it would be completely hypocritical given my own reaction. I don't like my own scarring either, but at least I could cover it up with something as simple as a shirt. I can't imagine a life where every day would be spent trying to hide myself as much as possible. And on top of that, Hanako doesn't even have people around her that would support her no matter what she looks like. I live away from my parents, but I can still contact and visit them when I wish. I mull over the best course of action in my head and find myself trying to verbally agree with Lily as softly and as ambivalently as I can. We make some small talk afterwards, but the both of us don't really have much stomach for it in the light of recent events. We say our goodbyes before I hang up. There is at least one thing I could do for Hanako. If I can make this small gesture for her, I can only hope that she allows me to come that little bit closer. After talking to Lily at the end of the school day, I sat on my desk and looked out the window, idly watching students leaving the school building. Usually they left in groups, but even when they left alone, they'd say goodbye to their friends first. It's completely normal, something that I would have missed completely had it been any other day, because it's so mundane. But it's also something Hanako has never had in the time that I've known her. As I stand outside of Hanako's door for the second time in as many days, that fact doesn't leave my mind. I hold 2 plates in my hands. On each is not exactly the most hearty of meals, but I want to be sure that Hanako's at least feeding herself. It may also be a way to gain a little leverage in getting her to let me in. Lily and I have tried our best to be there for her. Ever since she broke down in class, I've dearly wanted to protect Hanako. Such a thing happening to her again, or even something worse, is something I don't want to think about. The door gives a solid series of thuds as I knock on it while carefully propping up one plate on my other arm. I doubt Hanako will open it for me, so all I can really hope to accomplish is to attract her attention. Evening, Hanako, it's just me. I pause for a moment to see if she will respond, but the fact that she doesn't isn't very surprising. I have some food for the both of us. Could I come in? For what feels like a very long time, some muffled voices from the floor below are the only sound to be heard. Then I can hear the sound of bare feet on the floor coming up to the door, and I have to stifle a sigh of relief as I hear the door's lock being worked. When Hanako opens the door, I look at her intently. She looks up momentarily to the plate in my left hand. It's a modest curry dish I quickly made from a packet. Her eyes move to the plate in my right hand, which holds the same thing, before looking down again. As she shuffles back into her room, I realize that I haven't said a word to her. I glumly follow her and, slightly embarrassed by having been so wrapped up in observing her. More than ever, the gray and stark atmosphere of Hanako's room feels like a reflection of her personality. The voices from outside become completely inaudible, and the silence inside oppressive once I close the door. Walking to the far end of the room, I place the 2 plates on her desk. I'm thankful that she let me in, but as I turn to face her, I can't help having second thoughts about coming to see her. I don't believe Lily was right, though. Looking at Hanako like this, I can only think that giving her space is the last thing we should be doing. I don't want to imagine it, but she may be doing something very foolish. It's just an instant meal, but it should be filling. I take a plate in my hand, offering it to her. She wordlessly takes it and sits on the side of her bed. I take a seat in her chair, and the familiar sound of eating rings in the room as we dig in with the forks that were stuck into the rice. The curry itself tastes okay. I wouldn't expect much more from a packet whose brand I didn't recognize, so its not being horrible is at least something. Eating takes the edge off the fact that she isn't talking. Neither of us really likes to talk while we're eating, and this reminds me of the lunchtimes we so often spent together. It's kinda nice, eating together like this. Hanako looks at me quizzically. It's at least a better expression than what she's been wearing this far. We became friends mainly over sharing lunch breaks, so it's nice to go back to those times a bit. She hesitates for a couple of seconds, and I find myself grimacing. Did I say something wrong? Eventually she smiles and nods. I would normally be very encouraged by this, but her smile looks strange. I can't quite put my finger on why. Everything's the same as before, isn't it? Yeah, of course it is. You've still got Lily and me to help you and protect you, and once she gets back, everything will be just like she never left. Hanako nods again, her expression remaining exactly the same as before. She feels like a different Hanako from the one I'd first seen when I entered her room, and it's vaguely off-putting. Both of us go back to finishing off our dinners after this short exchange. Despite Hanako looking happier than before, my eyes keep flicking to her as if to reassure myself of this fact. Before long, the last of Hanako's curry is cleared. I finish the last of mine as she puts the empty plate on the desk, and place my own empty plate and used fork on top of hers. I briefly wonder what I should say, desperately wanting to avoid another awkward silence or the prospect of leaving a room after so short a time, but Hanako is the one to speak up first.
I was wondering, since you're here.
She quickly goes to one of her drawers, and after a minimum of fussing around, pulls out her chessboard.
Would you like to play?
This time I can't stifle the sigh of relief that escapes my lips. I hastily agree, and Hanako promptly busies herself setting up while I get off the chair and take a seat on her bed. Once again, Hanako is willing to let me into her world, with so simple a gesture as a game shared between us. I guess I was just winding myself up for no reason. After the board is laid down on the bed between us, we finish placing our respective pieces on it. Throughout our friendship, we've never exchanged that many words. When we're like this, though, I see that perhaps we've never really needed to. Just a simple book, or board, or meal between us is enough to bridge that distance. I make the first move, just as I've always done. This is the way our friendship was, and this is the way it will probably always be. Something definitely feels different about her, though, and I can't quite grasp what it is. I look at Hanako intently, but I can't work out anything from her expression. As physically close as we may be, it feels like we're further apart than ever. Hanako is a fragile person, though, and I would never want to hurt her. That was also the way things always were, and the way things between us will probably always be. Yeah, that one was a little more bittersweet, but, I mean, it wasn't as bad as the last one, but the thing is, Hanako kind of expected more and wanted more from us. She didn't want to be seen as this person to help, she wanted to be seen as a lover, as an equal, too, you know? And that's what Hanako was hoping to hear from Hisao, but once she didn't hear it, then, yeah. She's like, okay, we're just friends. So, yeah, it's called the neutral ending for a reason, so there you go. And I think that pretty much wraps up Emmy and Hanako completely. I've covered every little thing with them now, so that's it. And I leave it up to Neo to take care of the rest, so... yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed Hanako's bad and neutral ending and Emmy's bad ending. Well, as much as you can enjoy a bad ending. I mean, it is kind of bad, so I wouldn't expect too much joy out of it. But anyways, that's Emmy and Hanako fully complete now. And my next LP, not sure what I'm going to do yet, but we'll find out soon. I'll figure something out. Anyway, stay tuned for whatever I'm doing, and I'll see you all later. Peace, frig it out. Oh!